Hey, Texas kayak fisherman, Jingadare here. I thought I'd post up a few videos on some rod and reel combinations. I've seen several posts on people asking, for reel suggestions, um, and I own quite a few rod and reel combinations. Uh, I'm new to the kayak fishing offshore. But by no means am I new to offshore fishing. Ever since I was a child, I fished with my dad on his offshore boat, and recently picked up the kayak sport for the exercise and just the overall experience. I thought it was pretty cool. Um, so this is my basic loadout for the kayak, and I'll go over that. But I'm also going to go over uh, my boat reels that I use on the boat. A little bit different, and I've got a little bit of everything from, your really budget uh, combinations all the way to some of the highest end rods and reels money can buy. I'm a very mechanical person. I build race cars. I weld. I fabricate. So reels are very interesting to me. I've never been afraid to take one apart and rebuild it. Uh, so I've got a lot of service life out of some of my reels, and I just thought I'd kind of share that with y'all and maybe give you. Um, I'm not an expert, so just a kind of a sensible opinion, basically on my take on these rod and reel combos. I don't think that everybody needs to have the most expensive rod and reel out there, and I'll explain some of that. I'm going to do these one at a time in each video because it takes me a few minutes to go through them. But I'll just start a thread, and then as I kind of go through each combination and explain it, I'll just post up a video for each one. But we'll start. I'm going to start with my biggest, which is also the cheapest, and it's this right here. Um, this is a Daiwa df100a, and it's a very big spinning reel. Uh, I paid $30 for this reel on eBay. Uh, it held almost 700 yards of 50-pound test braid, so it has a tremendous line capacity. It is a very large spinning reel. It's also relatively heavy. Um, Honestly, if you're gonna fish with this all day, it's gonna be a chore. You're gonna get tired. It's a heavy combination. That's due to the reel itself and the rod that I have it on. Again, but it was $30, and the reason that I carry this with me is because it has such a capacity for line and weight as far as what I can catch on it. And it has a tremendous castability. I can throw anything. Right now, I've got a ling leader on there. I can throw anything from live baits to artificials, and I can do it comfortably from my kayak without having to worry about backlash or anything or tangles or any kind of problems like that. It makes it very easy to use, and but yet big enough, strong enough to handle just about anything that I'm going to catch from a kayak um, offshore. So it's held up relatively good. It's a very simplistic reel. There's not a lot to it. I've taken it apart a couple times. Very easy to work on. The drag system is from something from the Stone Age. Very simplistic. Okay, and that's kind of why I chose it. It was kind of like quote unquote a throwaway. It's like, hey, goes out, no big deal. $30, back in business. All right. So that's kind of my mentality, and it works. I've had it out on several trips, caught some kings on it. Uh, I've caught a few other species on it, and it's held up really well. Um, the rod that I have it on is a cheap fiberglass rod. I purchased the rod at Roy's Bait and Tackle. It was also $30. It is a blackfin. It's a 6.5 foot fiberglass rod. It's rated for 50 to 30 pound test and that's mono, so the 50-pound braid works good. I like this rod. It's very similar to a sturdy stick. It's all fiberglass. One, makes it very strong, makes it last a long time. But the downside is it's very heavy. It's made in China. It looks relatively high quality. The guides are coated, either powder coated or anodized, and they have some nice inserts that seem to hold up relatively well. The wrapping is epoxied over, just as normal. These are probably a generic, cheap knockoff but the rod and reel together for a $60 combo, it has a purpose on my kayak. It's not the fanciest. It's not a Fenor. It's not a Shimano. I mean, it's just a workhorse, and that's kind of what I use it for. If you're interested in getting started, this is an option that you can consider. This fiberglass rod, $30. Man, I've got a Shakespeare sturdy stick. It's built the same way. It's 16 years old. I still use it on the boat, so they can hold up and they can last. And there's no problem with this stuff. So it's an option that's there.